Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered! MaNa says, this time I win, it is my turn! OMG! Top left, we have a red Terran player, it is MorroW, and in the bottom right, MorroW, not Maru, MorroW, and in the bottom right, we've got MaNa. These two players have played each other a lot. They are both foreigners. They are both European. You lost all your confidence, says MorroW. TVP is Imba. Yes, says MaNa. Look at MaNa. Artosis has some things to tell you about this being Imba. Artosis has Protoss as Imba in this matchup. I'm bad at it. I'm bad at PvT. So this is a bit of an older replay, as all my MaNa replays and MorroW replays are, but I'm very excited to cast this one anyway. I like going back in time to maybe when the meta is a little bit different. You don't lose talent just like that, MaNa. Come on. Not in shape, says MaNa. I had my days. Only thing you've lost is your shuttle with High Templar in it. Nice. Like, really nice, MorroW. And then MaNa is just, he's stunned into silence. I had a shuttle with High Templar? Not a MaNa one. What? Is he basically telling MaNa to put High Templar in shuttles? That's the joke. I don't get those. Well, maybe you should. Maybe you should do storm drops and keep your High Templar in shuttles and so they don't get sniped by, you know, vultures and tanks and stuff. Oh, these... I am loving this back and forth between these two players. Foreigner B shuttle. Oh, like the player? Just play like shuttle? Is that what MorroW is saying? I think that's fair. Just play like shuttle, man. That's how you win against Terran. Play like Bisu, right? Right. Anyway, we've talked about this a lot. If you're going to beat a Terran player, you got to out-macro him. You just got to out-Zerg him, man. You got to get 3, 4, 5, 6 bases up, right? You got to get a ton of gateways out. You got to get upgrades. You got to do recalls. You got to do storm drops, probably. You just got to keep the Terran monster from getting too big. You got to sacrifice Dragoons for tanks in the early game. Keep that tank count low. Right? We've seen it go bad for Protoss time and time again, where they just don't do those things. And suddenly the tank count is at 35, and you can't engage them directly. You can't stasis them all. Right? You can't storm them all. You don't have enough zealots to deal with them. And then you just die because the tanks park themselves right here. And then your natural dies, and then your third base dies, and then everything goes to death. So, let's see what we get out of MaNa here today. Will he follow the playbook? And if you're Terran, it's just the opposite, right? Get 3 bases up, get 1,000,000 tanks out, keep your tanks from dying to early Dragoon pressure, defend yourself against recalls and drops. And then when you have enough tanks with, I don't know, like +2 upgrade, maybe even +1, walk them out across the map, bam, set up, win. Also, do vulture harass. That's something that some players struggle with. It takes a lot of APM, it takes a lot of awareness. But send vultures into bases, man. Protoss will often try to just naked expand on you. Take a 3rd base up here without any cannons or zealots or anything. You just run like 4 vultures or 2 vultures in even, kill everything, throw down some spider mines and get out. Throw down spider mines everywhere. Be very active with your vultures, because you're not being active with anything else, right? You're in this matchup, you're going mech. It's slow, it's ponderous. Your Goliaths are not fast, your tanks are not fast. Your vultures are fast. Use the vultures. This is me. I don't, you know, I don't really play Terran, so I'm just telling you things that I have learned from watching Terran, and watching when Terran wins is the vulture stuff, okay? All right, robotics facility opening here. Maybe he is going for a High Templar storm drop. He could be going for DTs, though. We've seen BC do that. Little 2-base DT play. He got that robo before the expansion. Okay, so I think that SCV scouted this, and that's basically MorroW saying, alright, there's something scary coming. Gonna get an engineering bay up. Let's just get a turret or 2 out, because we'll want detection. We'll want anti-air no matter what, and we're not gonna have a ton of anti-air because we're making tanks right now, and we're making vultures, and we're getting upgrades for those things. So in all fairness, turrets are gonna be good. Observatory coming in to deal with spider mines, but those aren't even researched yet. So, better safe than sorry is what MaNa is up to today. So just an observer. I'm very disappointed. Well, I guess it could be an observer and then we get something cool. Like High Templar play. Get them storms out. So engineering-based scouting. And there you go. Turret here to deal with potential drops. Turret here to deal with potential drops. Maybe to snipe observers that are not very careful. Right, not carefully heading out here. I know I talked about this in, actually, I don't know what order I'm going to post these in, but I saw Dune tonight. I'm casting this on October the 21st, which is the first night that it's available in America. Because, whatever. Piracy concern reasons, basically. But, yeah, I went to the theater, saw it. Really good. It's a 2.5 hour, almost a 3 hour film. And it's just, I felt like the pacing was excellent. I thought the acting performances were amazing. Timothée Chalamet is one of the best young actors in the world today. We've got Jason Momoa doing fairly well for himself, considering he's mostly a big dumb guy, but he plays big dumb guy really good in this film. Also got, I think it's Steven Skarsgård, one of the brothers there. We've got Javier Bardem in there. I mean, it's Oscar Isaac, Zendaya, name after name after name after name of good actors in that film. And it, I mean, I cannot say enough about Denis Villeneuve's job done in directing Dune. It's a weird combination of science fiction and mysticism and prophecy and all sorts of weird stuff that's not usually in science fiction. And you just have to blend it in a way that is uniquely Dune, and I'm gonna say he nailed it. Denis did a great job with it, so go see Dune. Even if you haven't read the books. Really good. So Templar, there we go. This is a 7-minute rushing to Templar play. I mean, not super duper fast. We've seen it faster than this, but not bad either. And there's your third base with a Dragoon trying to hold against incoming Vulture attacks, but they can come through here, which totally sucks. I guess we have a Dragoon here to try to hold this entire ramp, which is not great. But yeah, Vulture trying to see if there's a very, very fast fourth base coming up this way, and Dragoon, I like this from MaNa. It's like, I do want to expand up here, actually, so get out of my house, Senor Vulture. Bam. You're blind over here now, MorroW. What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to keep making Vultures and Siege Tanks. I'm going to get Spider Mines after Siege Mode is done, because I'm worried about early attacks coming in. But yeah, it's part 1 for Dune, which, apparently we're not getting part 2 for another 2 or 3 years, which totally sucks. I'm really excited to see how this works out in the film. I know how the story goes, because I've read the book, but, like, honestly, come on. Another 2 to 3 years to get the second half of the first book out. It's just like dumb. I figured it'd be maybe like a year. Like, you know how, what was it? Somebody did that. Was it Return of the King? I mean, the Harry Potter films are split into 2, but I'm pretty sure those were just a year apart as well. I'm okay with a year, but 2 years sounds terrible. Forget everything. Whatever. First world problems, indeed. But yeah, look at this. MorroW throwing down spider mines all over the place. Loving this from him. And then the Dragoons moving out to clear out the spider mines. And better yet, kill the Vultures that are laying them. Yeah, get out of here. Get out of my neighborhood. Stop laying your spider mines all over the place. Kids could get hurt. Actually, the probes don't get hurt because they float over them. But feasibly, sometimes they die to spider mines if the spider mine triggers on someone near them. Like a Dragoon, and then blam, the splash damage kills the probes. Not good. The Vultures are like, is there a base here now? No. Alright. That's totally cool. Not going to stress about it. Not at all. I've also been watching Tower of God, which is a Crunchyroll anime original series, and I really, really enjoy it. About, I don't know, 10 episodes into it so far. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. The characters are really fun. The character design is amazing. There's so many different character designs, and they all look unique, and they're interesting in their own ways, and the backstories of the characters are really good too, and I just, man, a lot of good stuff to consume in the year 2021, as it turns out. Mob Psycho Season 3 is coming soon. Demon Slayer Season 2's on the way. I don't know. I'm just a connoisseur of everything good, if that makes sense. I like ball sports. The NBA is back. I love that. I love the NFL. I loved college football. I love esports, mostly StarCraft, right? Mostly the esport of StarCraft, but I can respect other stuff like League of Legends and Dota as well. And I like Western animation, and I like Eastern animation, and I like Korean films. I loved Squid Game. I really like Train to Busan. I like Parasite as well. It doesn't matter where it comes from. If it's good, I'm on board with it. And I understand if someone is a media snob out of a sense of necessity, because if you really open your heart to every potentially good piece of media in the entire world, it's a lot to keep up with. It is so much to keep up with, and you can't do it. But if you're just like, okay, I'm not bothering with anime because it's a giant hole of content that I'll have to jump into and I can't get out for like weeks and months, and I get that. But if you do it because you don't think anime is good, well, I disagree with you, sir or madam. There is some bad anime, but just like there's some bad Western media, like, come on. If you're into, like, Hollywood movies, are they all good? No, of course not. So it's stupid to expect all anime to be good, and you shouldn't let a bad anime ruin your experience. Ooh, this observer gets out. Totally gets out. My gateway anime was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which I watched back in, I want to say, 2012 or so. So if you need an anime to get started with, I think that is the first anime for a lot of people. It's very accessible. It's really good. It is really good. And you won't regret giving it a shot, I think. All right, all right. Anyway, Recall's getting researched. I think we already got Stasis. These guys are just honestly not harassing at all. There's been a couple minor skirmishes here and there. But really, the 4th base came up for MaNa without much of a fuss. He's going to try to expand up here or maybe down here, but look at MorroW. He just got the vision, at least, in potential locations where MaNa can expand, and he just wants to know, at least, if that happens. Has MaNa been killing tanks? No. 0 tanks have died so far. If MaNa needs some tips on his game from back in, I don't know, like 2008, which is maybe about where this is from, I would recommend sending Dragoon Legions out earlier and killing some tanks and losing your Dragoons. The trades are good. They're really good. It is better for you to have 3 Dragoons, right, to lose 5 Dragoons and killing 3 tanks than it is for you to have those 5 Dragoons later and him to have those 3 tanks. Those 3 tanks are going to spike in utility faster, right, much faster than your Dragoons will, and over time, they're just going to be better. The tanks are overall, especially if they have upgrades, which 1 is already done, +2 is almost complete here. Storm's on the way, and 10 Zealots at a time. So we're maxed out for MaNa. I'm feeling like that. That's what happens if you get fast 4 base in StarCraft Brood War. And he is expanding down here. Okay, excellent. Gonna have to clear the spider mine first. And let's see if MorroW is gonna do anything about it. Nah, he's got his 3 bases. He's gonna try to max out. It's a little bit slower than the Protoss can. But overall, MorroW's feeling fine. None of his tanks have died. He's got +2 attack on these bad boys already, and I just... I don't know, MaNa. You're doing part of the equation, and I do appreciate that, right? You're expanding quickly, and he's going to take this bottom left one, too. He's going to try, but then recognize that, oh, no, there's a spider mine here, too. Crap. And is he going to try to... I don't know, man. It's too late. You can't walk in here and thin out the ranks of these siege tanks anymore, but killing some vultures is fine. I mean, vultures are really replaceable for Terran. Is that an EMP? Beautiful EMP. Knocks the shields off a bunch of these Dragoons. Outside the radius, but this one, this one, this one. Oh, this one, this one, this one. So like 6 of them get their shields knocked out. But the regen is not bad. The regen will bring it back. Ow. Took a spider mine hit there. Is there another one up here I'm going to clear with my body? Yes. Yes, I am, actually. Thank you. So we traded a Dragoon for a spider mine. That's not a good trade. Oh, crap. MorroW's moving out. All right, so this is really important. If MorroW is able to set up his tanks down here, I think that's just game over. So MaNa's going to throw everything he has at this. Like, just throw his body into it as hard as he can. Or at the very least, hope the Terran unsieges his tanks, wanders down here, and then gets surrounded and killed by the Dragoons and the Zealots. Maybe some will get stasis, right? There aren't enough tanks here that stasis can't do much. You can definitely stasis these 3, and that would help a lot, actually. A lot, a lot, a lot. I wonder if MorroW's going to expand behind this. I'd recommend that, honestly. If you have the Protoss so terrified of you that their entire army is here, then throwing up a command center here and here, it'd be, you know, maybe it's too hard to defend, and maybe that's not why he's not doing it, but... Or expanding here is fine, too. Okay, cool. He is expanding in a position that he's got tanks covering this ramp. That's really hard to walk up this ramp and get anything done. Oh! Carrier transition! Hey! So basically, MaNa maxes out and then says, it's time for carriers. Do we know it's carriers yet? The answer is no. MorroW has not scanned this fleet beacon. He doesn't know it exists because he's still pumping siege tanks instead of Goliaths. He's not getting Charon boost at all. He feels like this is a very traditional ground-style mech versus Protoss game, and he is wrong. He is wrong about that, because look at this. MaNa's got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 6 total bases. He almost has 6 Vespene Geysers. Well, he almost has 5 Vespene Geysers. He's working on the 5th. But he needs a ton of gas for carriers. They're very expensive. They take forever to build. And whenever you're trying to sneak up on a Terran by building carriers, it just feels like the carriers take forever. They take a year and forever to complete. I've played more Protoss than Terran in my time, and I can tell you, that feels like an eternity. You're like, go, carriers, build. He's building a couple of Goliaths, but he's not going crazy with it. Oh, he does have Charon boost. We saw that earlier, actually. The Goliaths were taking down an observer, and they had Charon boost. He's maxed out, though. He can't actually go crazy on Goliaths because a ton of his supply is tied up in these tanks. So here's the thing. If you scan that your opponent is going for said carriers, what you really need to do is go. Here we go. Move down, try to kill some bases. If your army dies, you can replace it with Goliaths anyway, because that's what MaNa's going to do. He's not building any carriers because he is also supply blocked. So I think an interesting situation here wherein MaNa is going to go for replacing his army with carriers as they die. Stasis time. Tanks are all sieged, though. Okay, that stasis, I think 0 siege tanks. So this really shouldn't go well for MaNa. Good storm. I mean, okay, he's going to take out a couple tanks here. That's nice. But look at how many tanks there are. There's a bajillion siege tanks. Bad. Really bad. Also, if you're noticing my microphone sounds better recently, it's because there's a switch, a physical switch on the microphone that sets it to only record from one direction instead of omnidirectional. And it was on omnidirectional for the last, I want to say, probably 2 or 3 months. I didn't notice. But nobody complained about it. Maybe it just sounds better today, but it wasn't bad previously. I don't know, man. Either way, hope you're enjoying the better sound of my voice. So yeah, 8 Goliaths at a time in production, he knows. Carrier production's begun. The tanks have set up in the position where they really, yeah, any Protoss should be unhappy about this. So he's going to come in, try to flank this sucker. The cloak is good. The science vessels are staying back, providing the detection that's really important. Good scan, also allowing the tanks to just absolutely blow apart these Dragoons, but the Zealot count is nice. And the Zealot count clears out those tanks, and the Dragoons win down here too. Hey, MaNa! He did it! He managed to absolutely save this bottom left, which was vital. I'm going to tell you 100% necessary for him winning this game was keeping this bottom left corner alive. If this dies, he just GG's out. He's done, but he's alive. He kept the income. He can make the carriers, and by that I mean not that many because he didn't lose as much of his army as I thought. These are bunched up like there's a recall going to happen somewhere. Or is there a recall going to happen somewhere? Ah, look at these. These vultures are heading up. They saw those probes crews up here. They're going to kill them real fast. Yeah, so the probes are dead, but 2 vultures can actually take down a nexus that's warping in, so that's a minor win. Wow, MaNa sends his whole army up to deal with this. He didn't bring observers with him, though. Wait, what? Why are you going all the way back? So he's letting this die. I don't understand the motivation to come all the way back this way, dude. There's, I mean, Oh, maybe he, like, boxed his whole army and he's moving up and he's like, I don't need the whole thing. This is really just a couple of vultures and a Goliath, which we've already killed. Ow, spider mine hit. Alright, so if he can... Okay, so if MaNa can do this and he can do this, then he wins the game. If he can hold this bottom left corner and this top right corner, then MorroW is done. He got out zerged hard, man. Hard. Once again, can't go crazy with carriers because of the supply block. So the good news for MorroW is that he's got a ton of Goliaths now with 3/3 upgrades. But are they that good against the Zealot Dragoon army that MaNa still has? What an interesting conundrum. It's entirely possible MaNa just kind of wins with this composition and never goes into carriers and he's totally fine and MorroW overreacted. That said, there's still a lot of tanks here. Like, a lot of tanks here. EMP is the Arbiter and engagement. Oh man, are we just going now? Feels like we're just kind of going. Once again, not great. But backline of tanks is a problem with that +3 attack. Interceptors on the way for the, I want to say, one carrier that exists right now. For MaNa, it is Uno Carriero. I have no idea what carrier is in Spanish. That was really bad. I apologize. Maybe somebody in the comments can tell me what carrier is in Spanish, because I read every comment that anybody ever makes on the channel. It's true. YouTube has made that easy. Also, hit that like button if you're enjoying this so far. It's kind of a fun PvT. Not a lot of action, but, you know. These two players know each other very well, and that can kind of lead to a bit of a more hesitant style play. This one carrier... Oh, does he have two, or is that just the one? I think that's just the one. The interceptors are getting blown up. I think he's down to possibly 0 interceptors. Not great. This engagement is going not great for either player. I think a lot of tanks have died. A lot of Dragoons and Zealots have gone down. This High Templar manages to get in here and get some nice storms off. That doesn't kill the siege tanks, but weakens them pretty effectively. It's 160 to 160 supply. Carrier's given a minute to rebuild his interceptors. He's got 4 of them. Didn't he get carrier capacity? Oh, he's building more now. Okay. Great. Great. Unfortunately, this is looking very bad as well. Storm up, storm up. Yeah, Spider-Mine's getting some nice hits here at the same time. The lone carrier is here to win the day because there are no Goliaths here for MorroW. Huh. La 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 la. Casually murdering stuff that can't fight back at all. But these tanks can probably take down, yeah, just regular old not sieging up, take down this Nexus maneuver. Wait, but focus it down first. Oh, he's worried about the incoming Protoss units. Focus down the Nexus. He's not going to kill the Nexus. MorroW! Oh, wow. Nexus lives. Everybody dies. I don't know if that was the right choice. I mean, I know I talk about the guaranteed damage a lot. The guaranteed damage there was killing Zealots and Dragoons. The guaranteed damage was not getting the Nexus necessarily, but I think killing the Nexus would have been amazing. 2 siege tanks wander up to the top right. Siege tank harass. Go figure. And they're doing pretty well for themselves. So remember when I was like, if MaNa can take the top right and this base too, he'll be great. He's not doing that currently. DTs are on the way. Siege tanks are just casually murdering every probe here. Vulture's going to support. This engagement not going well for MorroW, though. He's down about 30 supply right now, if not 40. Very close to 40, but also, siege tanks are great against Dragoons. And actually, Goliaths are not bad. They're pretty tanky. They hit pretty hard. It's more of a speed problem for them. Yeah, this top right base is going to die. I don't know about this, MaNa. He's building carriers now, though. So we are into carrier production for reals. Sort of going for Goliaths, not really here as MorroW. He feels like he has enough. In fairness, it's not a giant carrier fleet by any stretch. So now the Nexus dies. MorroW knew that he would be back, and this base is going to die too. So all of a sudden, MaNa's up in supply, but these bases are dying real fast all of a sudden. But guess what? The sandwich is real. Coming in from both angles, Dragoons, and that Zealot is not engaging right now. He probably should, but whatever. This guy is. He's brave. He ends up getting 2 kills for his trouble. This guy was late to the party. He has 0 kills. He deserves 0 kills. So 3/2/2 upgrades. That's actually pretty good from MaNa. He almost has 3/3/3, which is He's working on 333, by the way, getting that extra shield and extra armor upgrade. Insane. And MaNa's got that carrier fleet. Where is it? I know you're around here somewhere. Carrier is still building them? Maybe he's still... My gosh, they take forever. We've talked about this, though. Zealot sacrificing his life to run into a spider mine that he knows is there. GG him. Oh, look at this! MorroW taking the center. He's a little bit desperate, I think. Either you're way ahead or you're way behind if you take the center base, or try to. We've seen it attempted to be taken a bunch, but really hard to actually hold on to it. And he's expanding up this way, which is really vulnerable. I guess the hero siege tank is here with 6 kills to defend it if necessary, but being a hero doesn't actually mean you fight any better, turns out. They don't give you better weapons or anything. 200 to 180 supply, but once again, the +3 on the mech is just so hard for Protoss to deal with in mass like this. And look at this, MaNa's like, crap, Army's gonna take down this base again. I'm just barely getting that thing back up and running. And yeah, ta-da, MorroW shows up. We have seen MaNa defend this, though. This has not been an automatic good game. MorroW has set up here a couple times and had that shut down. Ah, look at the Protoss response to MorroW in the top right. This Zealot can... Oh, Zealot takes a wrong path. The thing is, they won't attack tanks that are attacking them because they can't technically see them, which is one of the dumber things in all of StarCraft, is that ground units getting hit by a siege tank and they can't see the siege tank, they won't run to it, even though they can tell the general direction where it is. Okay. All right, see, once again, bad angle, but hey, got in there. Siege tank down with like 10 kills. GG, man. Well done. But MorroW has the center. He's getting mineral income from this. MaNa has a massive bank. As my voice breaks a little bit. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm 38. Ow. All right, Dragoons, Zealots are present. The Arbiters are getting killed. The center's being held by these siege tanks. Oh, boy. MaNa's carrier group can't really do as much as it wants to because there's only 5 of them. This is a... Man, another Arbiter gets obliterated. Oh, my gosh. Okay, big carrier Dragoon engagement here, though. The Zealot count is not great, but there aren't many Vultures, so it doesn't really matter. And then MaNa pulling back from that position does not like what he sees. It's 9 Goliaths at a time for MorroW. He expects more carriers, which in fairness, there are more carriers on the way. Zealot Dragoon buddy cop partnership with their 3-3 upgrades are up in the top right, hanging out, having a great time. And really, just nothing but Goliaths on the way. I'm not sure... I don't know. This is definitely not 30 siege tanks, I can tell you that much. Gonna give you some, a sense of scale here. So the Goliaths are doing a great job against the carriers, and the tanks are doing a great job against the Dragoons. So I don't know, man. MorroW's down 50 supply, but Terran has this ability to win games where they're down supply because they're so gosh darn cost efficient with the units. Big time zoom out. Some people like to see this sometimes. Now time to zoom in again to watch the battle unfold without being so far away. Once again, they're just... I don't know, man. Dragoon carrier versus Goliath tank. What else do you want me to say about it? I guess there are some Zealots in here, which is awesome because there aren't any Vultures to deal with them. Hey, look at these fully upgraded Zealots kicking butt, taking names, and now MaNa's up. 200 to 125 supply. MorroW has no gas to rebuild the really important gas units, like Goliaths and siege tanks. He spent it all on these 4 tanks and 4 Goliaths, the center being held by MorroW, though. I really think this could have been destroyed by MaNa. Does he know this exists? He does! He attacked it earlier by accident. He knows it's here, but look at him. He's taking the top right, which I said if he can take the top right, he will win this game. He's up a ton of supply. I don't know. I feel like this is it, man. MorroW's last stand. Defensive Matrix Siege Tank is up, taking them hits, trying to provide the cloaks or maybe a stasis up here. That'd be good too. Did you get EMP'd? No. You just don't have a ton of energy because you're new, and the center is going to die. here for MorroW. So very, very nicely done. I mean, you can try to save it. The repair is honestly pretty impressive. But there's really only a few SCVs here, and they're all getting picked off anyway, and MorroW's going to try to hold while these Dragoons are busy killing a command center, taking big-time hits. One of these carriers, and it is going to die. But the others are still fighting. The Goliath count is getting whittled down. The command center is down. The income for MorroW is at one base. Not good. Not good numbers. And yeah, you took down an Arbiter and an Observer, but there's another Arbiter here pulling back with just a handful of Goliaths. There's just not a lot for MorroW here anymore. He's able to make 7 Goliaths at a time. Somehow. I mean, Goliaths aren't crazy gas heavy, I guess, is the main reason. And gas is an omnipresent resource. It never technically runs out. They expire and they return 2 gas per trip. So actually having a bunch of expired gas geysers is not bad. That does add up quite nicely. But 13 Dragoons at a time. He's not trying to build a ginormous carrier army. He's doing this hybrid play, which I can really respect. But man, no recalls and no drops today at all. It has just been had out on the field of play, but it's 200 to 106 supply. I do not see a path forward here for MorroW at all. And for somebody who's lost like 5 games in a row to MorroW or whatever it was, MaNa's feeling good here. He's doing great. Some great storm, some good, you know, kind of keeping MorroW on his toes about exactly what he's going to come up against here. How many carriers do I have to worry about? How many Dragoons? How many Zealots? What upgrades does everything have? Oh, again, we don't see a lot of Protoss with 3-3-3 upgrades, but boy, howdy, our Zealots are really hard to kill if you don't have any Vultures in that situation, which we don't have. He's replacing, actually, just kidding. These Vultures are here now, and they're throw down additional Spider Mines. So, I don't know. If MorroW can hold here, it's going to be one of the more impressive displays I've ever seen on the channel. But, okay, MaNa's actually up in the wrong part of the map, and MorroW comes down here again. I guess he's scanning and recognizing when MaNa moves away from this position, because MorroW is just going to wipe these 2 bases out, and MaNa's defending a base that's not under attack right now. MaNa, no! Where are you? What does this army do? Are they going to recall somewhere? Is there an Arbiter down here? I don't see one. So this base is going to die for the second time today. There is no saving it. MaNa's going to force an engagement up at the 12 o'clock, but there's, I mean, the army's kind of in the neighborhood, but MaNa's just allowing this to die. Or is he? Okay, the Vultures will eventually kill it because they do some damage versus buildings, I guess. Especially with +3, they're not the worst. Alright, so the Vultures wipe out this Nexus, which, again, if you're a Nexus, is an embarrassing way to die. Like, on the list of embarrassing ways to die for Nexuses, it's like death by Vultures, and, I don't know, death by Scouts would be pretty embarrassing too, actually. There's not a lot of things. What's really bad against buildings? Vultures. Scouts. I think that's about it. I think everything else is pretty good against buildings in StarCraft. If they have a basic attack that can hit them, I guess, is the concern here. But coming up again, a lot of Goliaths. Pretty good, great stasis actually on that ramp. Can he push through with his 70 supply lead? And that's it, man. MorroW GG's out. MaNa, capital G, MaNa is your winner. In 33 minutes. What an absolutely great PvT. That was a lot of fun. I'm sure MaNa is just smiling ear to ear after that result. Man, incredible. What a great, great game for him. And once again, this hybrid carrier, High Templar, Zealot, Dragoon play. Pretty good stuff. He did lose a couple bases. This Nexus died once. This one died twice, which isn't great, but he never got bothered in his main or his third or over here at all at this 3 o'clock base. And the bottom left was pretty happy. He was all set up to lose the main. He just never did. MorroW never really made a great push on anything but this, and I think that killed him. I would have, I don't know. It can be scary to come down here and try to kill this, but I kind of feel like it's pretty successful if you do as a Terran player. But overall, just great stasises, good EMPs on the other side too against the Arbiters as well as they could. These carriers doing some work here today. right? I mean, it was interesting. We usually see somebody go for mass carrier with some Dragoons. It was definitely mass Dragoons with some carriers on the other side there. So well done. Well done by MaNa. GG to him. After losing tomorrow that much, I'm sure he's very happy. So 313,000 points to 251. Outproduced the Protoss by about 120, which is pretty good there, but this is really going to be the problem here for MorroW, right? You get outspent by 17.4 thousand resources. That is out-zerging. That's what this was. Did we lose a lot of units? Yeah. Did we lose 50 more units than the Terran did? Absolutely, but we did outspend them a whole bunch. Our units are more expensive, so that's how this works. GG. Well done, indeed, by MaNa. And that is going to be it from me today. So, this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.